We are at our annual, or 6.6, our annual Lake County PEG presentation. This is brought forward by Supervisor Sabatier.
Is there a way to put the presentation up, Johanna? I apologize for... Well, somebody asked me about the PEG presentation, but I didn't realize it was next. I apologize.
Oh, yeah.
So every year, PEG is supposed to do a presentation. That's part of our agreement between the two cities and the county jurisdiction. Typically, we do this in April, so I'm actually on time here for the county. I will be doing a presentation in the city of Clear Lake on May 1st and a presentation for the city of Lakeport on May 6th. And so let's go ahead and go to the second page if we can. Okay. So we have had some changes happening in PEG. There was an election, and with that election, we lost both our members from the city of Clear Lake and the city of Lakeport. So it's both bittersweet. We enjoyed our prior members, David Claffey and Michael Froyo, but also excited to work with Mary Wilson and Christina Price, respectively from Clear Lake and Lakeport. And looking forward to that interaction. We've had our public member has been vacant for quite some time. I want to say 2 years since Denise Lustelo resigned, maybe longer. And so Elaine Brown submitted an application, and she is now our public member. Our station manager is still Thomas DeWalt. Many of you know him as he does all of the MAC work and does a lot of videography. And we just recently, we've tried a couple different folks, but we decided to go with Cheyenne Blue as the assistant station manager. The board itself is not in charge of anyone further than Thomas DeWalt. That's up to him on who he wants to ask to be the assistant and managing them. Our operating budget, which is part of our annual report for 24-25, we're looking at revenues of $52,000, $10,000 from the city of Clear Lake, $2,000 from the city of Lakeport, and the county of Lake gives $15,000 for its annual fee, and that should have been increased because of the increase that we did for the MAC contract that we have. Originally it was $10,000, now it's $17,000. So that should have said $32,000 for the county of Lake. Next is our operating budget expenses. We spent about $43,000 on our station manager, $43,000 total, $28,000 for our station manager, which is both our stipend that is provided to run the channel at the station and also the contract work that he's doing outside. And our editor, which should have been changed to assistant station manager, they get $400 stipend per month, total of $4,800. And between our facilities and our insurance, that's $10,000. And that's a swap between the city of Clear Lake and us. It's an in-kind contribution. We have a station in the city of Clear Lake at City Hall. We have a studio in the senior center, and they do our audit and our finances and our insurance for free. And so that's part of the exchange. And our capital budget is based on a government-approved, state of California government-approved 1% pass-through. So for everybody that pays MediaCom their monthly bill, 1% of that goes to PEG. That could only be used on capital budget stuff, not on operations. We are actually seeing a slow decrease. I'm not sure if the new satellite access to the internet has been moving forward a lot faster than we anticipated. Typically, we've been in about the $55,000 range. Now we're anticipating that should be around $48,000 this year. It's not dropping drastically, but it's definitely lower than we've seen in the past. And in this past year, because of some of the additional work that we're trying to get done, which I'll talk about in the next slide, we spent about $32,000 on new equipment and upgrades and things like that. Current activities from PEG is supporting local events to the best of our abilities. We have a sound system. We can do videography. We are being hired by the Farm Bureau, Lake County Economic Development Corporation, the Chamber of Commerce, in order to do other activities and events. We were hired to do the homeless town hall as well from Vice Chair Rasmussen last year. And also we are supporting our local MACs with the mobile audiovisual unit. equipment. Recently, we just spent, I think we are at about $8,000. We're helping, having a public-private partnership with Kingdom Dames. They have a new building here in Lakeport. We don't have a studio in Lakeport. We wanted to provide something in this area. So we're buying all of the equipment to start the ability for him to have a podcast. He'll do all the furniture, all the room, all the maintenance of the area. But that gives us access to a podcast facility, and it gives access to the public for podcast making capabilities, as well as in that relationship, we would receive content that we can then post on the TV station and online. Part of our agreement that we have with our municipal advisory councils is to bring back to you the dates and times that we are out there doing the work. And so I have listed all the times. The total times on there are, if you look at our contract, it's setup time, it's recording time, it's breakdown time, and then there's some editing that is done. And most of the editing is only seen from what's being placed on TV station, because when you click on a YouTube link, you have the title of it. It's a little bit more detailed in what you see rather than having to have it on the video. So there's editing done so that people can actually know what they're watching when it comes to the videos. And I do know that there may have been some questions regarding some of the times, so I do want to pause here in case that there are any questions from the board on this section.
I'll just, if it's all right, Chair, there's a public comment that came in, and I'm happy to read that right now. On this item, it says, I would like to thank Thomas for all of his hard work in attending the town hall meetings and making them available for residents that are unable to attend in person. The time Thomas spends in setting up and taking down equipment, streaming, and posting videos online, in addition to running Zoom, along with all the behind-the-scenes work that the public doesn't see, is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Thomas. And that's from Angela A. And I'll just add...
I think it's Angela Amaral.
Yeah, Angela Amaral, probably. That's what I thought too. But yeah, it's we have a lot of absentee property owners that like to participate in the town halls. We have people that are homebound. We have people that like to watch them all over the county. So having that equitable access is really important. So I'm glad we're able to do that in a way that is equitable across the county, because before we had some MACs doing it, some MACs not, and this is just a service that we can provide to everyone. So it's been a great year. So thanks for doing it.
I appreciate that. I had not seen that we had received that public comment, so thank you very much for reading it. It doesn't, the work of covering the MACs doesn't come without some hiccups.
Yep.
We've definitely had some issues here and there. We've tried our best to rectify it as much as possible. I think purchasing our own internet access has greatly increased our stability in what we can offer. I do want to make sure, at least for the public, I know you guys know, if the town hall doesn't want certain parts of us doing things, like for example, I know the Middletown area town hall does not want Zoom. I know people keep asking our station manager, Thomas DeWalt, to have Zoom access, and why not? And we only work for the people that are asking us to be there, and we're only providing what is being asked of us to provide. That is up to the town halls to make those decisions if there are any changes. I know right now we are having a little bit of technical difficulties with Zoom, but we're going to fix that, and I know that I do appreciate Sam Houston. He is available at times to take a look at things, and he's always looking at new technology as well, and looking to see if that can be implemented in our stuff. Let's go ahead and go to the next. So those are just the totals, again, just meeting the requirements of the contract to give a total of all the activities that we do. Future activities, there is a good conversation starting about how we can work with schools. We've always wanted to work with schools. Typically, it's been based on whether there's a teacher with a passion to want to work with AV stuff, but I think we're on our way to getting some of that stuff going. We want to increase our operational budget by continuing to advertise on the work that we do and how we can be hired to do some of the work available. We wanted to do this last year. It's really hard to organize with the limited hours, but we want to start looking at doing commercials for nonprofits to try and help advertise their programs, to help advertise who they are, what they do. So our plan is to do one pro bono commercial just to at least show what can be done and our production value, and then go from there and use that as a promotion tool to get others interested. And our goal right now is to do that for Lake Transit Authority and to work with them in getting that first commercial done. We want to obviously increase our viewers at all times. The more stability we have and predictability we have that we're going to be there and that our videos will be available, that helps. We're still working on activating Lakeport PEG Connection, and I'm glad that made me think of something. I do want to thank Mediacom. We had, I'm going to say his name wrong, Michael Rutherberg, close enough? Ruthers. And of course, most of us know Sean Swatosh. Both of them have retired from Mediacom, and we have new fresh blood, fresh eyes, and we're excited to meet with them. I believe the young gentleman that we last interacted with was Kevin, and he helped us out with some technical difficulties, and so we hope to have Lakeport on by having that fresh set of eyes and extra motivations that maybe new people have when they don't know what the history of it is. We want to continue to pursue partnerships. One of the big things that we're hoping to do is we're very interested in creating our own news show. Obviously, I would have to walk away, but we want to create like a very old school, here's what was done in Lakeport City Council, here's what was done in the City of Clear Lake City Council, here's what was done in the Lake County Board of Supervisors. If tribal councils want to submit stuff for us to discuss, we'd be happy to do that. Schools, we'd be happy to do that. We want to showcase what is happening in our community, maybe have 1 or 2 interviews. We're looking at potentially doing a monthly show just to get started, and again, iron out the kinks. We have met with KPFZ. We'd love to also set them up with a podcast so that they can not only be on the radio, but also record themselves as they are doing their radio show. We also see that as a potential benefit, especially when KPFZ is broadcasting during an emergency, where we can directly put stuff on PEG TV or on our website. So exciting potential and exciting projects that we're working on. And that is all for my presentation. I might have been over 5 minutes. I apologize.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I'd like to just add, you know, I have 3 town halls, and they go to them. Thomas goes, and you know, it's improved so much. You know, there was quirks, little things that came in, and being the person that had to do it before, like it's just. Yeah, it was very challenging, and so this has just been such a big help. And it also, one of the things I think you mentioned too, Supervisor Pyska, is that people can be engaged because there are people that aren't around or they work. You know, I know that Clear Lake Oaks Earth has theirs at 4 p.m. Well, you know, if it's recorded, people can look later at it. There's also ways to, well, I mean, what I've done is I've watched if there's a key discussion that happens during that town hall, I'll record just that portion and then post it so people can see what was discussed or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's a very, very big help to get it out there, and people can engage, people can know what's going on for the next meeting, and it really plays a big role. So I appreciate that we're doing this. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really appreciated it. It's sorry. I know that I've really appreciated it at the MAC, and then they actually came out and videoed a rodeo also for the kids, and I think that this would be something really cool to showcase Lake County a little more, and maybe kind of hook up a little bit with the visitor centers and what's going on for people coming to the community, as well as people that live here, having better access to what is happening around the county. So, no,
Thank you.
It's been fabulous. And Thomas does an amazing job.
I don't know who was first.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Vice Chair.
I just want to say I appreciate the work of Peg and Thomas, and working with us also to get the Scotts Valley Community Advisory Council meetings finally online just 2 months ago. They were the last municipal council that wasn't broadcasting. So that will be a big help. Also, going by, I'd forgotten that I did hire Peg when I was police chief to do that homelessness town hall meeting, and we had over 100 people that were able to, I believe, attend live broadcast in addition to what was there. So good work. I'm glad that we have this going.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always been really important for the Cloudberry Council to have this broadcast, and they were paying people to do it, and it was quite the production, and it was, these are all volunteers that were asking to serve and participate in these communities, and to take that burden off of them, let them just, show up and do what they volunteered to do and not have to also do a production. So the Starlink was critical because when we switched over to PEG, Zoom stopped working, so there were some bumps in the road, but it seems to be much better right now. We also frequently have presenters that are out of county that want to present to the max, and so we have a lot more flexibility for who they can have, who they can invite to the meetings, and they don't have to necessarily make the trip.
I appreciate all the comments. My guess is that our station manager, Thomas, may just become one of the most knowledgeable
Yes.
county politics individual.
It's true. Whenever I chat with him between the BVAC is one week and the CAC is the next week, and he knows everything.
Appreciate all the comments. I'll make sure that it gets forwarded to Thomas.
All right. We'll open it up to the public. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak, there you go.
Sorry about that. It's very haunted. Tom Lasik, we try to attend all the area councils that we can, and Thomas does a fantastic job. I actually have a question on the budget. You mentioned that MediaCom provides a certain amount and that it is dropping. The national trend is that's probably going to continue. Is there a contingency if that trend continues on, making sure that the program is funded, because it is a great service, and relying on MediaCom with, like the satellite, the Starlink type stuff and other companies competing, that funding might start to drop. So if you have any thoughts, it's just a friendly question. I was just wondering if you had any insight.
So what I will say is in the past year and a half, for the first time, PEG is seeing a revenue increase because of all the work that we've started doing and contracting with the individual agencies, including the County of Lake. That's why we want to start looking at producing commercials for some of our nonprofits. We want to do an exchange of whatever we're going to be losing from MediaCom, no matter what that loss is, and try to recompensate with other types of services that we can provide to the community, trying to run PEG a little bit more like a business rather than we automatically receive funding, so that in the long run we'll be able to be self-sustainable rather than depending on the 1% pass-through.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Come on up.
Hi, Elaine Brown. I'm on the board, and I just want to ask you some questions, Supervisors Sabatier, maybe what the public would want to ask, because I'm still learning, and I want to know these things too. So there's so many opportunities. I mean, it looks like something beyond the sky, being not the limit. And so like community people who want to maybe start a YouTube channel, and where would they go? I know we were talking about Kingdom Games, and I mean, there's so many opportunities for the public to get involved. And where do they go to get activated? What are the prices? How do we get funded from it? It's probably what the board would like to know too. And then like with the community, how could this, like with a local winery or a restaurant who maybe they can't advertise it. My understanding, you can't overtly advertise, but if a local winery wants to showcase what they're doing in events or weddings or different things, can they have a channel on PEG that showcases that? That way, they can direct someone that wants to come and have a wedding there, oh, go look what we do on PEG. So it's actually helping them, but they're not overtly saying, here we are, here's, I'm not quite sure, even as I'm joining, what can a business do that I think is really wonderful to showcase who they are without actively getting it as a publicity type thing, where they can pay us, the PEG board, and everyone wins because they're showcasing this beautiful community.
And so I appreciate the questions, because my presentation kind of highlighted more of what I would expect based on our contract, what the Board of Supervisors was looking to hear. What you're asking is definitely important. Anybody who can create content, whether they have an iPhone, a whatever phone, or even just a camera, if they produce content, they can submit that to us. We have very limited criteria of what would not be allowed, obscenity, pornography, things like that. You can't call to arms, things like that, but we are seeking content. We have found people in the past who are very dedicated to creating content. To those folks, that was their passion, and when they're unable to do it, we end up losing our producers of content. We also have equipment that you can lease directly from PEG in case you don't have access to that equipment. Now, we do have some higher end equipment and some lower end. We're not offering the higher end stuff for the lease, but we want to make sure people have access to be able to create content. And hopefully once they get excited enough and get enough experience, they'll want to use our studios, because even the studios are eligible for their use. Granted, we need to make sure that it's used appropriately. Same thing with the Kingdom Games podcast room. I should have a specific email address or a contact information, and I'm going to work on that. But I know that our station manager can often be found in the station at City Hall in the city of Clear Lake. If you walk in the front door, take a left before you hit the police station, take a right, it's your first door right there. We have forms on there on how to submit stuff, or how to request for, how to submit content, or how to request for equipment. But that is part of PEG, is we want the public's content. We want to showcase what it is that you're working on. And as far as businesses, there's two ways. One is you can underwrite certain programs within the PEG station itself, so it's not a publicity where you're saying come shop at our shop. You're just letting people know what you offer. But we also, I believe, can make commercials for you if you hire us, and we just give you the video and you use that video however you want. We're not going to put that on PEG, because that would be more of a call to arms. Come here, go shopping, spend your money with us. But we can provide the production capability to create commercials, just like any other commercial place would want to see, in order to use that on their YouTube station, use that on their social media, and spread it around however they would feel is the appropriate way to pass it around.
There's someone waiting behind you, so if you can
Sure.
wrap
Just another
this up.
question. Is there support? Like if someone wants to start their blog, or they want to do that, or they want to do this maybe at their winery, is there technical support? Is that what's the fees? Do we have that in place, like how to do that?
We do not have an educational outreach at this moment in time. We would be able to link you to the right places where you can learn those things by watching YouTube videos or reading on certain areas, but it's something we can work on, and maybe that's something you want to take on as a
Great.
board member.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Good morning, Supervisors. Margot Kambara. Happy Earth Day.
Nice.
Kudos and thank you to PEG TV, and a special note of thanks to Thomas DeWalt for his service. And thank you, Supervisors, for your insight in bringing this public service to the public. It's great. It increases public engagement. And it's for people who are too busy and can't stop everything and to attend in person, to people who don't have a choice and are shut-ins. It's wonderful, wonderful to see this service. And I am encouraged by the energy and the imagination to expand services for PEG TV, especially the news program. So I have a few questions. Will editorial content be truly independent, or will the funder, say the Board of Supervisors, have editorial control or, any influence on that count. And my other question is on the commercials for the nonprofits. Are the commercials, are they being aired as public service announcements so they're not charged for airtime, but they will be charged for production of the PSA?
So on the second one, it would be charged for the production, not charged for the airtime, because nobody should be charged for that airtime. It's a public station. As far as the first one, I would steer clear entirely of asking for any government funding for a news show, and but at the same time, we do need funding, and so my goal at this moment in time, without having a master plan on how we're going to get this accomplished, is to, just like anyone else, go to our local community stores and see who wants to help fund to make that happen. And the funding is for equipment, and the funding, to be honest, should be for the salaries of those who will be on the news show, because their interest will wane if we're asking everyone to volunteer for those things. So our goal is to obtain funding from your typical sources, but not from government, because then that would be a little awkward, because they should not be involved.
All right.
Just a follow-up question to clarify. Who is going to have editorial control of the news program, though? Because if you have community funders or whoever your funder is, not everybody's going to agree. So if a funder says, I don't like that, pull it, or I pull my funding. Could you comment on that?
I think that's a way in the future thought process of where we are currently. But I don't believe there is such a thing as a completely non-biased news show in this entire world, but we will do our best to set up a criteria to be as neutral and as factual as possible. My vision is to even put links to source documents as to where we're getting this information from, so it helps people to follow up on getting further information than what we provide. But we will do our best, and we would love to get your comments when we start doing what we're doing, so that we can always get better, because there will be some kinks to iron out.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other comment? Yep, Sam, come on up.
Thank you. Sam Houston here. A couple things I wanted to say. One is it's really nice to see the AV system, or the portable system that PEG, because I actually put that together, and there was some significant resistance about it, and it wasn't. And I want to acknowledge Supervisor Crandall for really supporting it, and then it took a little bit, and then Supervisor Sabatier, we got him talked into it, and it has bumps because it's technology, and it's really done well. That providing that kind of system, and I really I got to take a win. I personally take a win on that, because it's what's needed in the community. And the other thing is, I want to also acknowledge Supervisor Rasmussen, who was very instrumental in making sure that we could get reliable internet, and as well as Paul Duncan, who was the one who was the impetus to try to get us to work. I was very resistant about Starlink, only because of the political stuff around it, but it works. And so Thomas took the initiative, and Supervisor Sabatier, to try it, and it does work. And so that's really great, because it stabilized the system. And then Supervisor Sabatier, I really want to acknowledge you for taking on working through the challenges that were going on with getting the system set up and getting it stabilized and making it a community resource. And also I want to recognize Supervisor Sabatier for really taking on the vision of what PEG television can be. Having been associated with about 4 other PEG stations, I see the value of PEG TV to the community. And there was a mention of how can you support the PEG television. Become a member. That's how you can support it. It's $25 a year. It's nothing. when you think about the service that it provides. And so if you want to see PEG stabilize, and that goes into the operation budget as well. So that's, and when you look at like the salary that that Thomas is pulling, for that kind of position, if you look at the industry standard, you're looking at about anywhere from $100 to $200 per hour for a technician. That's just standard. And what we're paying, like what Thomas is getting paid, is really peanuts. So when we look at that, we also have to look at the sustainability. If we want to attract other people to help support him, to help support the PEG, to help support Supervisor Sabatier, and I know I'm going over 3 minutes, but I'll be real quick. So, but those are the things that I want to push forward. And the other thing is there's something exciting that's going to be happening with PEG that is coming down the line. And we can't really talk about that yet, but what I can tell you is it'll be a really very beneficial community asset. So anyway, thank you very much for all your support for that, because it is a very viable resource for our community.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sam.
Sam. Is there anyone on Zoom? All right, I'm closing public input, bringing it back to the board to close this out. Anything else to add?
Thank you very much, everybody, for your comments.
All right.